Hello and welcome to my video about how to install Windows 3.1 in VirtualBox. VirtualBox is free to download. If you don't have it already, get it. Just search for the Oracle VM VirtualBox. This is not the latest version as of recording this. I didn't update it yet, but I updated it a few months ago. It's not that old. So first off, let's start and make a little virtual machine on our VirtualBox. Type in Windows 3.1. And as you can see, it automatically changed over to Windows 3.1 from whatever it was before. If that doesn't happen, like if it doesn't automatically do that, like if you want to name it something else and it doesn't automatically populate that, you need to make sure that it says Microsoft Windows for the type and then the version all the way up 3.1. And then we'll hit next. Memory size, this is the RAM of the machine. They recommend 32 megs. You might want to do more, 512, 128, something like that, I don't know. Or you can just do 32, make a small thing. Create a virtual hard disk, VirtualBox disk image, dynamically allocated. I just picked that. I don't see why I should do a fixed size. And then this is where you set where your file path is going to be. You know, it's pretty fine to just use the defaults. You might want to do more memory though, in case you're going to put like a bunch of games on your virtual image or something. Then over in settings up here at the top, we need to make sure that we have a floppy controller. So you can hit this, leave empty, and now we have floppy controller. You don't need 2 floppy disk drives. So we can just get rid of one, I don't know. You can go down here with a little red X, delete it. And if we start it up, we're not going to be able to use it because we didn't install anything yet. You can select your startup disk here, or you cannot. It doesn't really matter. See how there's no bootable medium found? System halted. If you hit the host key, which is, for me it's right control, that's by default. You can right click this to change it. You're going to need to know this because once you get in, your cursor disappears. But you're going to need to be able to go over here to the floppy drive and insert a floppy disk. But we don't have a floppy disk yet, so let's just close this for now. I'll power down and we'll go to the internet. So over here, I just searched Windows 3.1 archive, and that pulls up Internet Archives page of Windows 3.1. This should be the official thing, official backup, virus free, as they say. If you're having problems with this, you might have came down here, or you might have searched on YouTube. That's kind of a bad idea. Like you can, I mean, you're watching a YouTube video right now, but I'm not going to try to serve you anything. What you'll find is people will have their own copies of these files. Like, here's a Dropbox. They're saying, just come and download my version. You know, you don't know what they did to that file. So I would say just go get the an official kind of file, like from the Internet Archive, for example, and it should be clean. If not, or if you want to download somebody else's, check it with VirusTotal first. You know, it's just a website. You can upload a file, or you can upload a link, and then they'll scan the link or the file. Over here, you'll see, if you don't know how to download from archive, you go over here, and they'll have different things. You can go show all to see all the files in here. Just a bunch of pictures, and they have torrent links to them if you want to download it from BitTorrent. Or you can just right click save content as for the ISO, and this is, as you can see on the bottom left, where it says what are you going to. It's a zip file. So it's not an ISO file. It's a zip file. I don't know if ISOs are zips or not. I'm not so sure about that. But I know that the image files are basically floppy disk images. So it's like a copy of the floppy disk, and there's 6 of them here. And we're going to need all of those to get Windows 3.1. But Windows 3.1 didn't ship standalone, so you can't just go straight to installing Windows 3.1. You have to install it on DOS first. So you need to go get MS-DOS. And I just searched MS-DOS 6.22 archive, and here's the Internet Archive MS-DOS 6.22. And you'll see here, this came in handy when installing Windows 3.1 in VirtualBox. Or also, I think I had seen a comment over here. Yeah, you can't just load the first disk. You must install MS-DOS 6.22 first, then load the setup file in the first disk image, which that kind of sounds, I think it's a little misleading. Yeah. But we do need MS-DOS first. So go down, get MS-DOS. If you go here, they have a zip folder with MS-DOS. So you need to download that, extract it using your favorite extractor. I use 7-zip. If you don't have 7-zip, I would get it because there's a lot of files, even on the Internet Archive, that are 7-zip files or .7z files. So I would just get 7-zip, and if you don't have it, and then use 7-zip. But yeah, so once we have those, then we can go over here and start trying to install Windows. No bootable medium found. I'm going to choose a disk 1, and then reset. Oh yeah, I have this problem sometimes. So if that happens, go check over here. It might have just, yeah, it's trying to load that, but it's failing. You might run into that problem. Right control R, see if it works. Starting on MS-DOS. There you go. You might have to fiddle with that a little bit, but hopefully it just works for you, or you just do what I did and get the same result. So now we're going to install MS-DOS 6.22. This is the first disk image of, I can show you my files. I extracted MS-DOS into the folder, and there's 3 disk images that we need to install MS-DOS, and then there's 6 that we need, I don't need this anymore, that we need to install Windows 3.1. I'm just going to hit enter. Configure unallocated disk space, recommended. Setup will start. We'll restart your computer now. Please make sure setup disk 1 is in drive A. We can just make sure by right clicking and choose disk file. Enter. And boot. So now it wants to make sure that the time is correct, and that looks correct to me. C:/DOS. Now we need to do disk 2. So go down disk 2, go back in, hit enter, host key to get your mouse back, disk 3, and then one last thing we need to do is remove disk from virtual drive. So now it's not going to boot any floppy disks. And then you can just restart your computer. And boom, we're in MS-DOS 6.22. And that took like a minute or whatever. And we can do dir, see our little files or whatever. Now you want to type in setup. Or you can do setup.exe. and it says to install MS-DOS, insert disk 1 into drive A, and then Control-Alt-Delete. This will restart your computer and begin the setup program. Or you can press enter to return to the command prompt. So I'm going to go here, going to go to my first disk of Windows 3.1, and then you can't do Control-Alt-Delete in here because it's just going to do Control-Alt-Delete on your host computer. So you can do your host key plus delete, and then it will do it. Nonsense. I think I ran into this problem too. So I'm going to restart it. I'm going to go into F12 to select where I want to boot from. I'm going to do primary, which is the 1 key on your top. And I think we can just go into A, because I think it might have mounted an A. Yeah. So you need to go into A, and then you can do setup, I think. Yeah. So that's how I got it to work. Now it's booted into the setup for Windows to reinstall Windows, but we're reinstalling as Windows 3.1 with the Windows 3.1 disk, floppy disk. The setup program for Windows 3.1 prepares Windows to run on your computer. So I'm going to hit enter. Express setup, enter. Now I need to put in this too. So host key, and then go down the floppy drive and put in our second floppy disk. Now we get to this. You can name it. My channel is called Raven, and I have a lizard man. So we'll go to that. And then I'm going to hit continue. Please insert disk 3. And then I hit enter, disk 4. Disk 5. And then the last disk 6. And I'm not going to have a printer, so I'm just going to hit that, install, OK, MS-DOS editor, and then now we can run the tutorial or skip the tutorial, and we'll reboot. Okay, so when you get this, it's probably going to do it every time you restart it, so what we can just do is remove the disk, and then we'll go back into DOS, and then to get to Windows 3.1 we type win, because we're winning, and then bam, now you have your Windows 3.1, and you can start exploring, do whatever you want, and it's working now. So I recommend when you close it out to save the machine state, and then that'll just save to wherever you were before. And yeah, that's how to install Windows 3.1 on VirtualBox. Yeah, thank you for watching.